34-time national champion, two-time world champion, driver of the Millennium, Joel Magic Johnson. Everybody, Joel, thanks for taking our call and spending a little time here with us.
Hey, glad to be here. Look forward to it.
Uh,
So,
Now, doing a little research online, I noticed there's a zillion. You got a zillion interviews out there, and we're gonna try to make it a little more fun than some of those cookie cutter ones. So we'll try to have a little fun here and make it zoom by. So you started racing in '75, which I guess kind of dates you a little bit. Sorry. And your first car was a 12 scale gas car.
right, Jeremy car. Yeah,
I didn't even know that existed.
they do. They're quite the collector's items now.
Yeah, I
In fact,
bet.
I follow them on eBay. He's always looking for a pristine one to
That'd be cool.
have a collection. Yeah.
Your first world championship was two-wheel drive off-road, running the Kyosho car. You're obviously you run everything and kick butt and everything, but more known as an on-road driver. How did that the off-road world championship come about? Like everything just clicked that day, or I mean,
Yeah, I think that was a kind of a perfect scenario, I guess, in a way. I mean, the European tracks are honestly they're multi-surface. They're pretty flat compared to the tracks here in the U.S. And Kyosho had a great tire at that event, and any World Championship tires are everything really, especially when they're not a control tire, obviously. So we just had the right combination, and it was, I guess, my day in a way. So, but certainly I'm a much more of an on-road racer than I ever was an off-road racer.
second world. I mean, this is jumping ahead, but the second world championship was the 10 scale on-road, and that was the kind of the debut of the Evolution 10. How was that adjusting to that car, and was it issues getting that thing set up good, or I mean, I know you had Dieter there helping out, but was that car like an advantage compared to the old T-bar cars that were around at that point?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time that car ever hit the track was in practice for that event, and Jim, designed that thing and put it together, and I honestly in the beginning was kind of against it because I'd already been practicing for a couple days, and I didn't, I thought it might be really disruptive to try to tune a brand new car, but we did run it. Obviously, we ran it, but we threw it down for a practice run to see, and immediately it had just much more corner speed than the T-bar cars at the time, and
Gotcha.
it was that was a big open fast track, and that's where those center battery cars do real well, and it was immediately an advantage. I mean, I think it just carried much more corner speed, and the rest is kind of history. But that was a nice advantage at that race. It was the first time anybody'd seen a center battery on-road car like that, and it worked out for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty cutting edge. I remember when that was saw the pictures and the ads in the magazine. I was like, wow, that thing looks unlike anything else. So it's pretty cool to do it with a literally brand new car out there. I guess one of the things I heard forever back in RC history class, the race that kind of, I don't know if you want to say that, like, I don't want to say made Trinity, but like kind of cemented Trinity's place in history. I guess it was a race in Japan, and I don't know if you could tell us a little bit about that. Like, what race was it? What class? Do you know which race I'm talking about?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
definitely. I believe it was 1985. I think was the year that it was the same year that the 12 scale World Championships were in Denmark, I believe. That's the ones that Buddy Bartos won one of the classes, I believe. I forget who won the other, but we skipped the World Championships, went to Japan to run the Japanese Nationals, and this was back then it was 12 scale on road. And the reason for it was to Ernie at Trinity to explore opportunities to import his own motor and engine, the electric motor. So at the time, everybody had to buy their electric motors through Reedy, and buying them through your competitor is a limiting factor, that's for sure. So he knew
Okay.
in order to get further that he had to go find his own motors. And at that time, it was Japan was where it was at, and so we got a invite to the race and went over to race, and also to talk to the companies that are over there. It was quite, he had a lot of trouble actually planning the meetings. I know if people have heard other interviews with Ernie, it was, basically no doors were open to him. Trinity wasn't that big back then. They were just getting going. And so nobody really wanted to talk about, him importing his own motor. And but we go to the race, we compete. Long story short about the race, we had 3 heats. I believe the first one we missed because we didn't hear our name. Obviously, everybody speaking Japanese, even though you could hear our name in English, but we just missed it. It somehow, we didn't realize what heat was up, blah, blah, blah. So we missed our first heat, if I remember correctly. Second heat, we go out and break a front stub axle on the spindle, just out of the blue, just something was over hardened. So we had 1 round to kind of salvage the trip in a way, because everything else had been going not our way as far as getting meetings. So, but third round I set the fast time and TQ'd, and then we ended up winning the main. And then Monday morning we had several meetings with multiple manufacturers to talk about importing motors. So that was really, I think,
changed their tune.
Trinity. Yeah. And then we went over and showed that we had, that we had the expertise and the speed to make whoever base motor we were going to modify, or Trinity was going to modify, go fast. So that really kind of opened the door for Trinity to become control its own destiny. So
I guess it really was important.
It was very important, yeah, for the company for sure, and it was important enough to skip a world championship for. So, of which we probably had a good chance of winning. You never know. So, and we were on a roll that year, kind of won everything. So, it was a good opportunity, and it was just a lot of luck involved, obviously, to put in 1 run and get make the show. So, but obviously it worked out. So,
and the rest is history.
And the rest is history, as they say. Yes.
So I see you got involved in RC through your dad being involved in the RC industry. What was your father involved in? Did he own a shop or was...
Yeah, my father. Wow, he had been in the hobby industry for quite a while. As a kid, he started working at a hobby shop, and then as he got older, he was working for American Model Car Raceways, who made all the slot tracks back in the '60s that were a big fad, obviously, and so he went around installing those and teaching people how to run their slot business, and then from there, we ended up in Hawaii. He was over there running slot centers. He built, I think, 3 or 4 over there for a customer, and then that customer ended up hiring him away to run the slot centers for him. So we were in Hawaii for 10 years, and during then, first couple of years were the slot centers, and then after that, he was managing a chain of hobby shops over there. So, and then in 74, 75, we moved to Santa Clara, California, and he opened up his own hobby shop, which we had for 10 years. And so that's how I was always, I was basically born into, into the hobby, if you will. My father also founded NAMBA, which is the North American Model Boat Association, which is like the roar of boating. Okay. So he and another person, so he is very active in model boating. That was always his first love. And but we immediately started running, electric car races out in front of our shop. Originally, they were gas races with a Jeremy, but about the time we opened the shop was about the time that the electric car craze, if you will, started with the 12-scale electric cars from Leisure, and soon after Associated had their own car, and they were just, the first cars were just the gas Jeremy cars that had electric motors bolted in where the nitro engine was, and batteries were where the fuel tank was. So, but being in Silicon Valley, we were kind of in California. Obviously, we're kind of right in the middle of it, and we actually had in 1975 we had electronic speed controls all the way back then. Before and then we actually went to a wiper system because they were actually faster, top speed. But I started my first car had an electronic speed control to begin with from this company called Electrocraft, which was based out of San Jose, there where we were near where our shop was. So
Cool.
so that's kind of how I got involved in this, and I started racing in parking lots when I was 8 years old, and been doing it ever since.
Cool. Huh. That's cool. Cool background. I had no idea. So,
Joe, of all the tracks that you've been on, what would you say was your favorite track of all time?
Favorite track of all time was Ranch Pit Shop, their on-road track they had there back in the day in Pomona, which was originally Thorpe Raceway. But as far as asphalt went, I loved racing there, and I had a tremendous amount of success. Obviously, had the World Championship there in '92 that I won, and many national championships that I won there. And so that track was like a second home for me. So definitely between that and then of course Cleveland every year. I always enjoyed going to Cleveland over Thanksgiving, and really became that became my Thanksgiving. It was kind of weird to stay home for Thanksgiving after I kind of retired. So, but Cleveland also was very good to me, and I got to really enjoy hanging out at the Independence, Ohio Holiday Inn. So maybe it's like the Helsinki syndrome, when you fall in love with your captor there. But anyway, so those two places I really enjoyed.
yeah, that covered. We had a listener submission question on that. Jeff Cuffs actually asked that favorite track. He wanted to know all-time favorite class.
All-time favorite class. Well, I think really is a 12 scale, and probably if you have to delve down, I really enjoyed running outdoors, 12 scale on asphalt, which back then was 6L. Now we're all in the single cell lipo era, but 6L 12 scale on asphalt was probably my favorite. Although I really did enjoy running 4Cell as well, but if I had to pick between 4Cell and 6L, I think I'd choose 6L just because that's really where I started, and that just has the most, for my driving style and feel. I really enjoyed running on asphalt.
Kind of the cream of the crop too. I mean, the best of the best were racing that class.
Yeah, I did very well, and asphalt racing kind of fell out of favor. When all the most of the 12 scale racing was going indoors in the late '80s and things. So as there were asphalt races, I became the guy that actually had the most experience. So I was able to continue to have a lot of success there, even as I aged, if you will, and my reflexes weren't maybe what the younger kids were.
Nonsense.
I don't know. That's when you raced at. I saw you last year at Jackson's, at the On-Road Nationals at Jackson's RC Raceway.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about that race? Like, what did you come away learning about that race? You were talking about reflexes, losing your reflexes and stuff. But I mean, I think we were both talking about technology changed so much. You were trying to get used to all the the brushless motors, the lipos. What was the hardest part of adjusting to that race? Because that was your first time back in how long? I mean,
yeah, for on-road, that was for electric. I mean, really, that was my first time back since, in reality, 1999. I hadn't, I ran a Reedy race in between there, but that was really kind of a one-off, something while I was working at Kyosho. They said, hey, Reedy race is just across town because we were in Lake Forest there, so they said, why don't you go run it? And I'm like, I don't even have a car, so we kind of threw something together in a week, and I went and tried to run. But the thing I struggle with, I think now, the way the cars drive it, when you talk about touring cars, is the solid front axles and how the cars are, how they drive. I was used to driving with, using the brakes and steering, trying to get the car into the turn at the same time. And now with the solid front axles, you have to really get all your braking out of the way before you initiate the turn, and that's something which is much different than the style I was adapted when I was running touring cars there towards the end, of my career, and so I'm still trying to kind of make that happen, and old habits die hard. So I still struggle with that, and I've just recently, in the last few weeks, started picking up touring cars again and playing with them. And that's basically what I'm working on, is just the braking and getting the cars to react how I want it to react on the brakes. And so it is a different ball game from basically '99 was the last time I played with these. The cars are. God, they got to be almost twice as fast as when we were running them, and they're just much quicker, and there's no more one way, so it's all about driving way deep into the turn, hauling the car down very quickly, and then rotating through the turn, maybe with less corner speed than what we had, but it's a much more point and shoot type of style versus when I was doing it full time, where it was much more of a flowing feel to the car. And honestly, I think the tires are worse than they were when we were running. I mean, it was an open tire deal when we were racing, so we had lots of traction too. So I think the tires now, with the control tire and things, they bounce backwards a little bit. So that there's probably a little less traction, although chassis technology maybe is making up for that. But really, I think it's just that solid front axle that for me makes it most difficult to drive.
Some cool insight there. What kind of touring car are you diddling around with right now?
I'm running a Associated. I just built one of their 6.1, their latest TC6, and actually tonight I'm probably heading over to West Coast right after this interview to go practice and get a little more used to running in case I do want to run the Nationals or something again this year.
Maybe we should get a trackside report.
Oh, dude, we can watch that on Live RC after we're done here. Sweet.
You probably can, or you can follow me on Twitter or something. I usually tweet from the track something,
Wait, really?
Fun, yeah.
Throw it out there. What's the Twitter name?
At Race AKA Joel. So.
Cool. We'll have to follow that.
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm usually got a few choice tweets throughout the week of something. I try not to be too serious, but I'm trying to learn all this new social media.
It's crazy.
It is. It's a lot of fun, though, actually. It can get, I guess, addicting in a way. But,
yeah.
Anyways, you can follow me there, and I, of course, we have at Race AKA for AKA products as well, and we do tweet stuff through there. So.
Yes, I see you got Facebook and Twitter up on that with your site now.
Right, yeah, we just got that going in the last few weeks. We've brought in somebody, Brent Figge, for those guys out here who know Brent, is doing all of our social media marketing, and he's working full-time for us, so we're real excited to have him on board and bringing us into the 21st century with all of our social media.
Cool. That's it.
I remember back with Trinity, Joel was designing the website, the new website we were launching. And I had the task or the honor of trying to come up with a list of every God-forsaken bad name you could think of that somebody would register with. Joel's like, give me every bad name that you can think of. Remember that, Joel?
Yep, I remember. Yeah, you got to be able to block all those. So.
Yeah, I had to be able to block. So he's like, come up with a list. And I'm like, oh, my God. I think that was my hardest project. We got from there. Because, man, everybody's so creative, and you have to come up with all these different... it's terrible.
Oh, yeah. It's a constant battle with those guys, the spammers, etc.
So I'm kind of hurt that you didn't get a hold of me to help you out. But
well, the technology is such that they kind of have it built in now. So
yeah, I noticed that. Yep.
You no longer have to come up with them on your own.
Yeah.
He tried to crack the code. That's why he knows.
Yeah, exactly. You guys have been trying to get into our site. I appreciate that. Well, I guess we're doing a good job then.
So I guess segue into AKA, big win for you guys this past weekend. Jared Tebow winning the Neo 12.
Yes, yeah, that was a great win for us, and a great way to kind of kick off the year for us. Jared's always been super fast over there, and Europe's an important market for us, and so we're very excited about that.
Awesome! Congratulations.
We also had six of the 14 or 15 in the main on
the
AKA,
top 15.
Yeah, so that was great. And Ryan Lutz did a great job coming in fourth. So it was all around a good weekend for us.
Good showing over there. Yeah. So how does like three major players, you, Gil, Losi Jr., Pavitas, how do three main players like that form AKA?
Well, it's that stem AKA kind of stems back to the Kyosho America days. Both Gil and Mark worked for Kyosho America. We were, I brought them on board to fulfill a task given to me by the chairman of Kyosho, which was to create an American brand, if you will, for Kyosho, to design products for the American market. And so brought Gil and Mark on, both guys I knew well. And, the idea was to start, you got to crawl before you run or walk. And so we decided to start with accessories, and we thought the tire market was a good opportunity to jump in, and especially with Mark's background with Proline, and then of course Gil's background with Team Losi and developing their entire tire line. And so that's kind of how that was the genesis of AKA. And and soon after, couple years after, we were about a year and a half, I guess, after we kind of started it and got it going, the recession hit and Kyosho wanted to change direction. So we bought the brand, Gil, myself, and Gil's father, Gil Losi Sr., Pops, from AKA, and brought it, into its own company. And that was at the end of 2008. And so now, here we are going into our fourth year as our own company. And, it's been quite it's been a journey, that's for sure. So a lot of learning, steep learning curve. And, but we've been fortunate to have a very, we really had good success. It's been great to be associated with all the Kyosho distributors around the world. And, it really gave us a jump start into the market. And, we know we'd probably have good product with Gil and Mark behind it. And, combining that with, the Losi's experience in the U.S. market and Kyosho's experience around the world, it really, it really worked out well, and we couldn't be happier.
Cool. That's something I didn't realize. So that's cool. Cool history on that. Pretty successful in 4 years, I'd say. That's some good products there. I noticed you guys just got into the pre-mounts for the Losi short course tires. How are the pre-mounts doing for you guys?
Pre-mounts really are kind of, I think, what to the average consumer, that's what we're known for, is our pre-mounts are just second to none. And they, we use, they're all pre-mounted by hand, and we use our own glue, just like you buy off the shelf, to pre-mount every tire we pre-mount. And bottom line is they just don't come off, and they're solid. And so the pre-mounts are our best-selling items across the board in any form. And the new Losi 4x4 truck has been a good product for us. It's a popular 4x4 truck, and the pre-mounts, again, are, nobody really enjoys mounting their own tires. And now that there's kind of everybody's settled on these closed cell inserts, and I think ours are viewed as the best. We have a great combination between our tires and wheels and inserts. So people buy them pre-mounted because there's the choices aren't that great anymore, and nobody has to worry about, do I have the right insert for the track? They know they do, and so it's been great.
And I guess you can't screw that up. So that's a perfect option for somebody who's a little iffy on mounting their own stuff. So cool. It's perfect deal right there.
Exactly.
Got anything, Gotti? I got some silly questions. Well, not really silly. Kind of like more obscure questions than anything.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. So I remember way back. Yeah, the year Pro Car was around. I forget what year that was. I remember the Nationals out in Mattoon, Illinois, and you had the coolest sunglasses. You had Oakley prescription blue iridium sunglasses. Did you hang on to those things or what?
I did, but I don't have them anymore. And I in a way I wish I had, because my prescription hasn't changed in years. But I took them mountain biking, and I ended up taking them off, and I had them in a bag, and and I didn't realize there was something else in there, and it just destroyed the lenses.
No.
They were just so scratched I couldn't use them anymore. But they were a cool pair of sunglasses, and it took a little bit of getting used to with the wraparound style. It bulged things because it did distort things a little bit back then. That was when they first started doing it. I'm sure they've got that handled now. But yeah, those were great sunglasses. And I mean, I raced for years. I've needed glasses all my life, and I raced till I was 18 without glasses. And
oh wow!
And I just finally got to the point where I said, well, maybe I'll try this. And once I got used to seeing everything in actually much clearer. I mean, I'm not blind by any means, but it's certainly things are sharper when they get 20, 30 feet away. And so now, of course, I wear them all the time, and I can't do without them. But yeah, those were very cool glasses, and I wish I still had them. But I actually may be getting another pair here pretty soon because I need to get new glasses. And Kyosho America was only a couple blocks from Oakley, so we've got some connections over there from being that close, and so I have to call on those one of these days and get some new glasses.
Sweet. Yeah, that were. I just remember, man. I don't know. That was just Joel had the cool stuff, and I mean, sunglasses were hot.
Kirby's all about image, and he pays attention to that stuff. So he notices that anyway.
Nobody else was rocking Blue Iridium glasses up there, man.
No, you gotta look the part.
Race fast, look fast.
Yep.
Exactly.
Here's one I remember from. I guess I remember this one from K&N. I know Dieter always had a hat on, and maybe even the shirt. You guys had, and I forget that. This is why I'm asking you, because the name escapes me. I don't know if you guys were like sponsored or hooked up with a cell phone company back then.
Oh yeah, it was Cellular One.
Cellular One. That's
Cellular One, yeah, which is no longer around. I don't know who they are now, but yeah, we had like this hookup through Cellular One, who was through a friend of Jim's that was a racer, and we had a little bit of a corporate sponsorship back then, if you will.
Cool.
So,
yeah,
back when then nobody had cell phones. We had cell phones, and I remember getting it, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. I mean, it was nobody had those things, or they were in a bag. And I had one of the first. I think it was the Nokia, handheld one. That was pretty hip.
Not going to get any better than this.
Yeah, that was awesome. You're not going to find that in your ordinary interview right there. Some of this stuff.
Yeah. I bet you thought back then this cell phone is not going to get any better than this, guys. I got a bag phone. I could carry it anywher.
Oh yeah, those bag phones were quite the thing back then. So.
Another little thing I picked up on, and it was I remember it from the Masters of RC, the trading cards. Your photo was I'm guessing like a GRX Pro SE, and you had and I think you had it on more cars than that one. You had the old school Apple logo, the old school Apple decal on there. Any particular reason, or?
I've always been kind of a Mac fan.
Okay.
And I think at the time I had a friend who I raced with back home because Apple's in Cupertino, which is right next to San Jose where I grew up, and that worked there, and so we always I always had some sort of a decal or something like that on there.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
It was nothing more than that, just kind of a fan of their products.
All right, I didn't know if the cell phone hookup, the Mac hookup. Wasn't sure.
Jeez.
No. Back then they didn't have cell phones. Apple barely had computers back then.
I thought maybe you were testing the iPod back then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, that would be a little bit premature on the iPod testing. Yeah.
Hey, my girlfriend asked a question from Carrie Lowe. She wanted to know that you drivers gravitate toward a signature color on your cars. What made you choose your colors, that purple, pink, and white scheme?
Wow, that's a good question. That I found, let's see, I had a good friend that I raced with growing up that was into the dirt old, like the sprint cars and midgets and that. And he ran race quarter midgets for a long time. And he and his dad used to paint my bodies. And I remember he had a Circle Track magazine on his desk, and I was thumbing through it, and there was somebody had a sprint car painted in white with the three shade, with a pink, maroon, and purple kind of paint job. And I just saw that. I'm like, that looks really cool. And I don't know. I just saw it. I said, I want to paint something like this. So we mixed up some colors, and because his dad was a painter, and that's where it started. And I just dug it, and I kind of kept it ever since. It's morphed. I've kind of updated it throughout the years with the scheme, but yeah, I don't. It was it came from that picture of that sprint car in that color scheme, and nobody. It was also very unique. Nobody ran pink, obviously, for various reasons, but I was fast enough to pull it off, I guess. So
yeah.
So it became a signature paint job, and it was the '80s too. You got to admit. I mean, there's a lot of fluorescent, fluorescent pinks and turquoises and things. So it wasn't too far off the trend, if you will. But that's where that scheme came from.
Nice.
Yeah, you can't really trash talk if somebody's destroying you with that, a pink and purple paint job,
Can't trash talk magic. God.
Very similar to the
win.
Yeah, right. It's very similar to the colors on the sprint car my brother currently works on. They always had the either black or white, but they always had purple, pink. Very similar.
Ryan's copycat.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe they probably saw Joel's car and changed it up.
Hey, it goes fast. They all look good up front, whatever color they are. So.
No doubt. Another viewer, listener submission was Bob Barry asked, favorite moment in RC and why?
Whew. Favorite moment in RC. All right, I will go back to, it's actually not car related. I was racing the Model Boat Nationals with my father at Leg Lake, and I don't remember the year. It was in the mid-'90s probably, and my father has always been a racer, model boat racer, but never was one really to go fast. He was more about building beautiful boats and the scaleness of the boats and things, and it was always running races, never really, would you say, a hardcore racer. But he won his first national championship there, and I was with him. I was his pit man, and for me that was I'd had all the success by then in the car world, and my dad became quickly known as Joel Johnson's father, not Gary Johnson. And even though
right.
he first founded the organization that people are racing in, but it was more of a joke with them. But anyway, so we to be a part of his first national championship, and to get thrown in the lake with him, and just to see everybody having a great time with it, because he's made so many national races and was contest director for several of them, and organized so many races over the years. So that was a special moment for me to share that with him. And he passed away, I think 3 or 4 years after that, and so to be able to share that with him and have that moment was really special. So
very cool, very cool. Man, race boats too. Jeez. And
I was 76 junior. I was 76 junior national champion in model boats back in the day.
Wow. So that should be 35 national.
Yeah. Just tally it up. Why not?
All right.
35.
Correct that.
You have to correct that on your website, Joel.
Carry the one.
Carry the one. Yeah.
Nah. Goofy question time.
Hey, anytime. Yep. I mean, you guys have known me for a long time, so I'm sure there's, sure you've got these lined up. So.
All right. I already know the answer to this one, but from previous interviews, Coke, Pepsi, or Mountain Dew?
I'm a Coke guy.
Okay.
Diet Coke, to be specific. I have a big gulp every morning.
Oh, you do? So do I.
Yeah, it's my coffee.
Yeah, and I get criticized for it.
Oh.
I probably should stop doing it, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm not a warm drink guy, so I have my Diet Coke.
Well, there's something in Diet Coke that's supposed to give you cancer, supposedly, to everybody that's telling me about it. So they're like, you're done.
There's everything we eat has something that will give us cancer.
Yeah.
So.
For real. Any energy drink consumption? Stay away from that stuff, or?
No, I stay away from that stuff. The guys around here are big Monster fans, and I actually have some friends who run the Monster downhill team, so we do get a delivery of that every once in a while that falls off the truck. But yeah, so the Monster, it's kind of a Monster crew around here. So, but not for me. I stick to Diet Coke. I'm old school.
The original.
Kirby, we need a job at AKA.
Oh man. Just clean out we'll get in a broom closet or something. We'll make it happen. Yeah. We'll glue up some tires. We'll do pre-mounts. Well, okay, maybe not.
There you go.
They want some reliable tires. We have the practice. Let's see. iPhone, Droid, or BlackBerry?
iPhone, all the way.
Yeah. Kind of figured that with the whole Mac deal, but Gotti's a Droid guy. I side with the iPhone as well.
Yeah. When I browse the web, I like to have Flash.
Yes, it does help, but I don't browse the web too much on my phone. It's a little more of a
you can't.
tool.
You're on an iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Good times.
Let's see. What could we find? What kind of music could we find on your iPhone/iPod?
Wow. Let's see.
Everything.
I'm holding it in my hand.
Something that you're embarrassed to tell us about, but you're going to. Anyway.
Guilty pleasure.
Yes.
Oh, guilty pleasure. All right. Here's my guilty pleasure. Let's see what I've got in here. Let me shuffle through. Artists. I've got. I know there's a couple in here. How about Bow Wow Wow? I've got a little Bow Wow Wow in here. I've got Buffalo Spring. Yes, Buffalo Springfield. That's not too bad. There's a couple in here. I'm kind of an '80s fan. I've got, I can't stop listening to some, '80s stuff like Vanity 6 or something to that effect. I kind of get caught up in that. I got a little Katy Perry and Kesha. Okay, yeah. That's I don't know if that's a.
No Hanson or anything like that, right? No Hanson.
No Hanson, no.
All right.
No, I don't have anything that far off the mark, but I have, maybe I don't have any real stuff that's out there, but I have a little bit of everything. I mean, I've got everything from jazz to to blues to some hard rock. I mean, if you call Metallica hard rock these days, I'm not, It's not
do you listen to something? Do you listen to something specific, like to get you jacked up for a race? My go-to back in the day used to be Van Halen. I'd always listen. It was something I listened to before my high school football games. I used to listen to the entire Dive Down CD, or actually it was probably cassette tape back then. But I'm dating myself. But yes, I was a big Van Halen fan. That CD, and now I don't really. I don't. You don't listen to like it's magic or whatever.
ABBA or something, maybe Air Supply. Yeah, no, I do. When I exercise, because now I'm old, and if I don't, I'll just turn into a blob. I'm more of a hard rock guy, so I'm kind of I'm more into the. Let's see, what do I got here? That's. I'm not good with names, so I have to remember what these new bands are. Like Puddle of Mud and that genre of rock is kind of in my keep myself going on the treadmill or on my mountain bike or whatever I'm doing. So but I'm all over the map on music. I can kind of listen to anything and have fun with it. We actually listen to a lot of Pandora here at work, so sometimes we'll have gangster rap day. We'll just Pandora playing the Snoop Dogg channel or whatever. And, it's kind of fun. We'd have a lot of trivia questions on who did what and who's singing the song. And Hodap is the champion in our office, but I run a close second when I'm in the 80s and 90s. I can hold my own.
So I take it you're David Lee Roth over Van Hagar, huh?
Yeah, I'm a David Lee Roth fan. Yeah, Van Hagar not so much. it's just a different style. It wasn't me. So
Yeah.
If we were to open up your refrigerator, what would we find now compared to back like in the days of Trinity?
wow. Well, in the days of Trinity,
Because I know you're eating a lot.
I was a bachelor. I probably ate out every night, but well, and in the back nowadays, it's let's say in my first run at Trinity, I was a bachelor. It would have been empty. The second run at Trinity, of course, it would have been full because I was married and had a house, blah blah blah. So there have been plenty of stuff. Nowadays, if I have to say what I find in there, well, I did. I'm a big fan of Arizona iced tea, decaffeinated. I've got, of course, there is a 6-pack of Anchor Steam in there.
Yeah.
I've got, I'm a big cereal fan, so I always have non-fat milk to go with my Wheaties in the morning. And probably got some salsa. I love chips and salsa. And leftovers from several restaurants throughout the week, because even though I have food in the fridge, I tend to go out more often than I should and eat. So
Yeah.
so that's probably what you'll find in the fridge there. It's a good smattering. Oh, and some Diet Coke, although I try not to keep Diet Coke at home because I drink so much during the day.
How many cans do you go through a day?
I'm a big gulp. I'm a big gulp in the morning and at least a big gulp at lunch. So it's, I don't know, add up the ounces. It's too many, I'm sure, but I try not to track it. I mean, I guess there's worse things that I could be drinking, but
Yeah. Monster. That stuff will kill you.
that's the after hours. Counteract all that caffeine.
You see that champions do eat Wheaties.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Kirby?
Well, I'll tell you what. Wheaties missed out. Wheaties missed out on Magic Man.
Yep.
They
missed the boat.
Yeah, I was big Wheaties fan actually, and growing up I was a big Cheerios fan too when I was a kid. I don't eat them as much anymore. I've kind of switched over to Wheaties, but Cheerios and Wheaties been my two cereals of choice.
Good quality. That's a good eating right there.
Can't complain. No sugar. No sugar.
We're giving you insight that you will not hear anywhere else.
Yeah,
it was true.
Kids that want to go faster, eat your Wheaties.
That's it. Stay regular. So.
Hey, Joel, here's a question for you, Joel, on the topic of food. If you were a type of food, what type of food would you be?
Oh, boy. A type of? What is a type of food? I guess if I was
If you were a type of food, what type of food would you be?
Or you could go specific, I guess.
If I could be, I guess.
And you can use this in your interviews at AKA.
Yeah, I think I would be.
Because I'll tell you what.
I think I'd be like a French fry, something like starchy that everybody, that you can't put down. I guess everybody likes.
Now, see, you'd be a high risk for companies. Usually, that question is to let companies know if you're likely to enjoy unhealthy foods and raise their insurance rates.
No, I did not know.
How about that one, Joel?
Nice. So yeah, I try to eat healthy, but I mean, if I'm going to really be a food, and I'm going to go. I'm going to be unhealthy if I'm going to be a food.
Yeah.
Who wants to
pencil that into your questions to ask future employees?
I appreciate the insight, and I will make that one of the main, structure on which I base my hiring on.
First question.
Sound.
First question.
I won't base it on the fact that they're tremendously overweight as they walk in. As long as they say they want to be a salad, they're in. So.
Nice.
Oh boy.
I just thought of one that was a racing question that popped in my mind. I remember the 12 scale car that came out, the Magic Carpet Ride with the monoshock front end.
Yes.
That didn't stick around too long, but man, that was such a cool car.
Yeah, that was actually a Delta front end that we had on that thing, and I think that car came around because we ended up winning, if I remember correctly, the Cleveland way back in the day, and the track got really bumpy and unpredictable, and that front end really smoothed the car out and made it easy to drive, and which was perfect for winning the race. But once everything smoothed out, I think the front end didn't have enough steering. So at the end of the day, it was too easy to drive and not fast enough at that level. So it was a kind of a short-lived fad, but a good car nonetheless. I think it was probably a good club-level car. But yeah, Magic Carpet Ride.
Man, I remember I had to have that.
You guys realize who the inventor of the T-bar is really, or the ball pivot T-bar.
Losi Jr., right?
Yeah, that's what the L in 12L is. So
Yeah.
So that's
and then
kind of
how the heck did Associated? Yeah, how the heck did Associated get their hands on that? Sheesh.
That's a story for the Losi interview. You guys will have to.
All right.
To have.
Yes. Write that one down. Yeah.
So when I get out of this interview, he's just in the other room, so I'll tell him to give you guys a call. Maybe I'll have to book him.
Yeah.
So.
Just transfer us. Yeah, that'll work.
Great. Can you transfer?
You just transfer him over? Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, we definitely want to get him on the show.
Yeah. We got to get Dieter. Somehow we got to track him down. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Well, I have his cell phone number, but he never answers.
Yeah.
That's not right.
He's busy.
You should change your number. He probably has it. He probably knows who you are.
Oh, geez,
that's terrible.
That's terrible. A couple more fun questions and we'll let you go.
All right.
If you try to fail and succeed, which have you done?
If you try to fail and succeed, what have you done? I don't even know how to answer that. That's
Well, I was just trying to get an answer on that. I don't know either. But
why would anybody try to fail? I believe you failed, actually. If you set out to do something that you didn't do, I believe that's a failure. So
it's a successful failure, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
Tom or Jerry on the cartoon? Tom or Jerry fan?
Oh, Tom or Jerry? I think I'm a Tom guy. I like Tom.
Yes.
Right out.
That's mine, too. I think you're passing the test, Joel.
Yeah, looking on these grades.
All right. Well,
so you're heading off to West Coast Raceway?
Yeah, in theory. I still have to pack a few things, but yeah, that's where I'm going to go have some fun up there tonight.
So even though people won't hear this till a couple days from now, tune into Live RC and you can watch Joel race at West Coast Raceway.
Yes. Every Wednesday night or Tuesday night, not every, but some nights I am up there playing around. So you might catch me on the camera as I enter the driver's stand. So.
And get your stopwatches ready.
Yeah, that's very important.
Well, we look forward to following you on your Twitter.
Yes.
And
see how I think I have like 8 followers now. I'm blowing up. So
soon to be 10.
Yeah, and I'll be 10, and then, who knows? By the end of the week, probably be up to 20. So
we'll pass the word, and we're gonna blow up your Twitter.
Yeah, let's see the power of your podcast. We'll see what you guys have to offer.
Man,
can't fail. We can't fail, Gotti. Let's do this.
You gotta get out there, start ringing the bells, get everybody signed up. So you guys have
really
a Twitter account or anything?
Oh yeah.
Well, what's your? I got to follow you guys, obviously.
No. Well, mine's at Gotti Jr.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And then
I'll add you to my list.
There you go. And mine is at KHand187.
KHand187. All right. I have those written down, so you guys will each gain a follower.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Magic follow.
Feeling the love, man.
Man.
Feeling the love.
Sure. Hey, take that one off the bucket list.
Yep.
You guys are very nice.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, really thank you for doing this for us.
Yeah, I'm sure you had, up to your ears in interviews for the past 20 odd years. So we do appreciate it, giving us a chance. Thank you very much.
Hey, no problem. We all go way back, so it's fun catching up with you guys, and willing to do it anytime. So.
Yeah. Are we going to see you at the 8-Scale Nationals?
In Pennsylvania, it's a possibility. I don't have my ticket yet, but there is a possibility. So.
Oh, great. Well, if you're out there, we'll meet up then, for sure.
Yeah.
What's that, Kirby?
I said he'll be sick of us by the end of that weekend.
He'll be trying to get back home fast.
Yes. I'll just stop showing up to the track. So I'll watch it on Live RC.
No, hey. It was great seeing you last year again. That was a long time since we saw each other and at the On-Road Nationals. And it was cool meeting up with you here today, too. So.
Well, best of luck with your podcast, guys. And
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Look you guys up and stay in touch.